Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello to our darkroom deepening discussions, where I am honored and delighted to share from the darkroom retreat experience, which was a coalescing of life stuff. So today is the last few days. I'm going to take a moment here. We'll invoke some darkness. It feels okay to let your eyes close. Let sensations, attention just go inwards. Just for a few moments as we look at this specific component that we'll explore today, or explore whatever comes up in this moment. We'll leave the past in the past. We'll not think about or fixate on the future. We'll just come here into this moment and look into the dark. Work, if we can, and discuss what might arise in a darkroom retreat. Like what arose for me was some really interesting insight into habits and tendencies and patterns and rewiring. So for the sake of today, I'm going to lump it together: habits, tendencies, patterns. Technically speaking, if you wanted to break it up, I would say patterns are often deeper, more ingrained, but they're built and they express our habits and our tendencies. So for today's exploration, let's put them together. A specific example that jumps to mind from the darkroom retreat, and maybe you can relate to this, and I've discussed it in the past and I'll discuss it more with some other topics in these discussions, but the eating piece. Sitting there in the dark room, observing myself eating quickly. It's like, wow, what a habit, right? So I had a lot of success slowing it down. I did fast the last 4 days, but the first 8 days, savoring the food, right? A lot of us in the West have a half an hour to eat and take care of any personal stuff for our lunch break. Well, of course, we're going to be gobbling down food, wolfing down food rapidly, right? We got other stuff to do, a couple personal things to take care of, maybe a phone call. So it forms a habit. And even if we're out with friends eating, the focus can be on the socializing. Great, no problem. But then we can just be unconscious with our eating. So it reminds me of a lot of ashrams in India where meal times are in silence. So we can get present to the moment and the sensations of eating. So this is just one example, okay? And I'm not harping on eating or advising anyway or anything, those were great experiences in the ashram, and it was a great experience slowing down. Don't want to fixate on that one thing. I just want to invite us in these darkness explorations to look at what habits, tendencies, patterns might we like to change, transcend, grow out of. Or the word today, and it's been coming up a lot with clients lately, I'm calling it rewiring. A lot of people, we do this deep body work. We talked about embodiment a few days ago, and it's so important. A lot of people have somatically, viscerally, bodily been feeling the deep grooves of these patterns. And so we talk about rewiring them, deepening even further, often expanding, right? That's what I like to say is expand out of these old patterns that aren't working. Just wanted to offer that to bring up as an exploration. As always, love working on this one-on-one or in groups. So please bring up things that you would like to rewire. Really liking this rewiring sensation that happens in myself and others. Speaking of, I also want to talk about one thing that came out of the darkroom retreat last point today. And I want your guys' reality on it because it's not something I've researched much. If any of you have, please let me know. And that is the habit piece of if there's any truth to it takes, I've heard experts say it takes 3 weeks to rewire a habit or change a habit for it to sink in or create a new habit. And from my personal experience, I would say more. I would say 30 to 90 days would be more of a minimum. But if anyone knows the science behind that, because it's an interesting piece coming out of the dark room. And thank you, Water Dog, for the great question around pros and cons. I still haven't come up with any pros, or excuse me, any cons. I haven't come up with any cons to my 12 days in the dark room retreat. I recommend it to anyone. No cons come to mind. The only sort of idea and, thinking to the future is I would want to get in there for 49 days and really do some deeper rewiring. 12 days was awesome. Don't regret it. Don't regret a thing. I think I went really deep and there's more discussions to come in this darkroom deepening. But I'm very curious about what it takes to rewire a habit. Specifically, please let me know if you have been able to, in 3 weeks or less, get out of a tendency or pattern. Awareness is the first piece. And something to keep exploring, keep talking about. Very much want to hear your experiences and wisdom. So please let me know, and sending you off with much, much love.